Check out FlipsideGaming.com for all your gaming needs. Use the promo code HEROES to save 10% on all orders over $10. Hey there, this is John from Heroes and Legends, and welcome to another edition of the Magic the Gathering Market Watch. And we have a lot to talk about again this week. First off, Kamigawa Neon Dynasty continues to move a lot of card prices. Many players are building new commander decks around cards from that set, and that in turn is making a lot of cards go up in value. You'll see that throughout the video today. There's other things going on in the market as well. A little bit of interest in some unlimited cards. You'll see that in the vintage section, and a whole lot more. In today's video, our threshold is going to be $2. Again, we're not going to talk about a card unless it's moving at least $2 up or down. And quickly, before we get into all the details, just a fast reminder, if you go to FlipsideGaming.com, you can use the Heroes promo code to save 10% on orders over $10. Currently, you can pre-order the 2022 Standard Challenger decks. They have them all together as a package on the website, but they have a whole lot of other things there too. Remember, if your order's over $100 or it consists only of singles, shipping will be free in the United States. Also, whenever you use the promo code, it does support the channel, which is always appreciated, so thank you. And without any further ado, let's get into it. Let's begin with the Standard Legal Spotlight. This is where we talk about cards that are Standard Legal moving the most this week. And you will see most of the cards on this list are moving because they're indestructible feature cards that are still trying to find their price point. For the most part, the set has stabilized, but there's a few to look at, starting with this first one. Sundown Pass. The double feature copy is up $220 this week to $816. So this is a popular standard mana-based card, as you can imagine. It's in Jeskai Control, Naya Enchantments, and much more. This is also a great commander mana-based card as well. It's in some new builds too, like Isshin Two Heavens is one, Hinata Dawn Crowned, and Ryu Storm's Edge. Next, we have Hallowed Haunting. Again, the copy from Double Feature. It's up $281 this week to $32.50. In Standard, this is seeing a good amount of play now in a variety of enchantment decks. I've seen this in Naya, Selesnya, Bant, and 4-color varieties. There's also some players now testing this in Modern and Legacy. I have seen some putting this in Enchantress decks in both of those formats, for example. In Commander, this is a card that you see many times in Sithis Harvest Hand decks, and those are more popular now because of the enchantment focus in Kamigawa. Players are putting a lot of new and different cards in those builds. Also, I've seen this in new builds around cards from that set. Go Shintai of Life's Origin, Lightpaw's Emperor's Voice, and Satsuki the Living Lore. Hidetsugu Consumes All. Now, this is the only Kamigawa Neon Dynasty card on the list today, but it is moving quite a bit. It is up $8.95 to $12. On MTG Goldfish this week, they featured a Mardu deck built around this card, and I do think that brought a lot of attention to it, but it's in other places too. Pioneer, this is in Rakdos mid-range sideboards, and I have seen a lot of players trying this out in Modern as well as Legacy. One place in Modern I've seen it is in a Domain deck. Legacy, I've seen it in Control builds. We'll have to see if that sticks going forward, but it's also showing up in a lot of Commander decks. It's in Hidetsugu Devouring Chaos, Go Shintai of Life's Origin, Isshin, and if that's not enough, I gotta mention on the Command Zone podcast this week, which could have brought further attention to it. Last card in this section is the Meat Hook Massacre. This is the one from Double Feature, going up $23.80 in theory to $74.99. However, there's not a lot of copies of this right now online, so I do think this price is a little bit inflated. I'm sure we'll see it even out within the next week or so. But it does see a lot of play. In Standard, it's in Orzhov Midrange, Orzhov Control, and much more. In Pioneer, it's in Jund Sacrifice and Rakdos Blood. And surprise, surprise, it is seeing more Commander play now too. I've seen this in Tetsunari Toad Rider, as well as Go Shintai of Life's Origin. And that brings us to the Pioneer Legal Spotlight, although I could probably call this the Commander Spotlight as well, because, for the most part, these cards are all moving because of Commander. First, we have Aurelia's Fury from Gatecrash. It goes up $229 this week to $564. It is seeing increased Commander play now in Hinata builds. Shivan Dragon from Revise. We saw this card dip last week. It rebounds this week. It's up $234 to $26.45. It does see a little bit of Commander play. Heliod's Intervention up $239 to $7. This is seeing increased Commander play in Hinata, Isshin, and Lightpaws. Lord of the Void up $257 to $20.26. Maybe a good demon to have for when Streets of New Capenna comes out. This one's seeing more play in Satoru Umezawa Commander decks. Temporal Trespass up $361 to $19.43. Now this one does see Pioneer play in Izzet Phoenix, which is a popular deck in the format, but it's also in Yuriko the Tiger Shadow Commander builds. That build has become even more popular than it was due to the ninja support found in Kamigawa. Last card in this section is Aurelia the War Leader. This, though, is the copy from the Guilds of Ravnica Boros Guild Kit. Only comes in foil. It goes up $6.99 this week to $35. And this is seeing more Commander play in Isshin and to a lesser degree Hinata. And that quickly brings us to the Modern Legal Spotlight. In this section, I do have some cards going down in value, which we'll talk about first, and then some going up in value. Hey guys, Servant of Oni. Now, this is the one from Betrayers of Kamigawa. It goes down $208 to $34.99, but there is another copy going up in value. You're going to see that later in the video. One thing to note, too, this is on the list now, starting with Kamigawa Neon Dynasty. We'll have to see if it sticks around for another set or two. If it does, that could eventually play a role in the card's value. If it only sticks around for one set, it probably won't have much of an impact. When it comes to this particular copy, it did jump recently, so now we're just seeing some retraction as it tries to find its price point. The two places you saw this the most in Commander was Yuriko and Maronar. It's still in those decks, and more people are playing those decks right now because of Kamigawa, but it's also in some Commander builds around new cards from the set too, Satoru and Greasefang Okiba Boss. Cryptic Command, the copy from the list that was only there during Zendikar Rising. This is going down though this week, $218 to $17.65. Basically, this card sees a lot less play now in Modern compared to maybe just 6-8 months ago. A lot has changed in that format, but you do see this in Azorius Control still, and maybe a few other builds at times. This is another card that does show up in Commander Yuriko. Also, it sees more Commander play now in Jin Gataxias, Progress Tyrant, and Hinata. Wrath of God, this is the one from Portal, down $305 to $14.05. You might remember this was on the list from Zendikar Rising through Strixhaven, and they used this card frame and this art for that list copy. That did soften it up a little bit, but ultimately this original one is still hard to find online in high grade. It tends to have some jumps and some dips from time to time. This week it is retracting, as you can see. Now, this is a solid Commander card that is found in Sithis, and it's getting more play now in some new builds. Isshin, Light Paws, and Goshintai of Life's Origin. It's also a good upgrade to the Buckle Up Commander deck, and I have seen this in some fresh builds around a card from there, Shorikai Genesis Engine. Shizo Death Storehouse from Champions of Kamigawa goes down $356 this week to $36.61, and this is retracting after some recent increases. In Modern, you'll find this in Rakdos Midrange. It is a solid Commander card in a number of builds, including Yuriko. It's also in some new builds around Kamigawa cards, Satoru and Isshin. Last card going down in value is Blood Moon, the original copy from the Dark. It's been increasing pretty steadily recently. This is a big retraction week, though, down $16.36 to $102.78. There was a copy of this added to the list with Crimson Vow, and it did stick around into Kamigawa. This was also recently reprinted in the Mischief Secret Lair. But again, the reason there was so much interest in this particular copy was because, again, it was hard to find in good condition online. When it comes to gameplay, Modern, you're going to see this in Murktide Regent, Crashing Footfalls, and much more. Legacy, it's in Jeskai Control, Blood Moon Aggro, and more there too. And it gets Commander play in a number of decks, including Krenko Mob Boss. First card going up in this section is Blightsteel Colossus. The copy from Double Masters goes up $4.55 this week to $80.30. Now, this does get a good amount of Commander play, and you do see this sometimes in Yuriko again. Plus, it is in builds around new cards. Many times you'll see this in Satoru Umezawa, since it is a great card to give ninjutsu too. Also, I've seen this in Jin Gataxias, Progress Tyrant. Daybreak Coronet, the Modern Masters 2015 copy, goes up $2.31 this week to $10.74. The original Future Sight copy up $5.26 to $13.58. You'll find this one in Modern Bogos, so this is in a Modern deck. It's also in Commander Sithis sometimes, though, and it's seeing more Commander playing new builds like Light Paws Emperor's Voice, and to a lesser degree, Norika Yamazaki the Poet. Konda's Banner, this one going up $5.47 this week to $21.23, and it is getting increased Commander play in Isshin decks. Unwinding Clock, the new Phyrexia copy up $8.58 to $29.99. The Commander 2018 copy up $8.86 to $28.32. There is also a copy from the list that joined with Crimson Vow, stayed on for Kamigawa. So yes, you can pull it in set booster packs of Kamigawa if you're lucky. That particular copy has had a lot of market manipulation focused on it over the last 2 weeks. This week it does feel like it's going down, maybe getting close to stabilizing back to normal, but I did not include it today in the video because it is coming off some pretty egregious market manipulation. I would assume the real value of the card is somewhere closer to $30, like the ones you see on the screen. When it comes to gameplay, this is another good upgrade to the Buckle Up Commander deck. Plus, I have seen some players putting this in fresh builds around a couple of cards from there. Shorikai and Kotori Pilot Prodigy. This also got another Command Zone podcast mention this week, which could have brought some attention to it too. And finally, for this section, we have Intruder Alarm, the Stronghold copy up $15.26 to $30.25. The 8th edition copy up $18.06 to $33.60. Now, this was recently reprinted in a secret layer, Fibblethip Totally Lost, but this card is popular right now, still going up in value, and why is that? Well, it is another good upgrade to Buckle Up. It's also in fresh builds around Shorikai, and to a lesser degree, I've seen this in Ghost Shintai of Life's Origin decks too in Commander. And that brings us to the Vintage Spotlight. This is where we talk about cards that see play in Legacy, Vintage, 93, 94, or cards that are just popular among collectors. Like I mentioned at the top of the video, a lot of unlimited cards are on the move. Again, you're going to see that throughout this section. And a few other things. Remember, the prices on the screen in the Vintage section are going to be a little more reminiscent of what you might see on a price tracking website. That's because many of these cards are hard to find in good condition. They don't sell that often. So we do have to lean a little harder on asking price, at least for a number of the cards. Also, too, remember the prices you see many times for the older and more iconic cards are somewhere between the price for a high-grade raw and a high-grade graded copy. Again, because there's not a lot of sales and that data does mix. Alright, let's go ahead and take a look at the first card. It is a forest, but it's not any forest. It's the one you see on the screen. This is basically a reprint of one of the Portal 3 Kingdoms forests, and you can find this in the Battle Royale product. It goes up $4.47 this week to $6.23. And this type of thing happens quite frequently. You've seen this before on the Market Watch. A random land will just go ahead and spike. Usually it's a cool, hard to find one like this. I'm sure these are hard to find in good condition online on a regular basis. But typically I think what happens is somebody decides they want to pick up a number of these for a deck or maybe a few decks. The market will quickly dry up and the copies that are left behind are the more expensive ones. That's when you see this kind of price inflation, at least for a short period of time until more copies return to the marketplace. Usually when this happens, it happens to white border lands because many players prefer those. They do stand out when you fetch. Next we have Tolarian Academy. It goes up $4.77 to $145.62. Now this was banned in Commander, so we can't blame that format for this increase, but it does see vintage play. It's in 4-color Tinker, Paradoxical Outcome, and more. Meltdown. This is up $6.56 this week to $24.93. This has become a huge Legacy sideboard card to deal with 8-cast and other builds where there's a Saga. This also sees a little Commander play at times too, but obviously Legacy is really what's pushing this card. Exploration, the copy from Urza's Saga, it goes up $6.78 this week to $46.99. This is in Legacy lands. I've also seen this in a lot of Commander Sithis decks, and it's in some new decks too around Kamigawa cards, Ghost Shintai of Life's Origin, and Tatsunari. Grim Monolith up $7.35 to $331.25. You'll find this one in Legacy Colorless Cloud Post. It is also a solid Commander card and combo enabler in that format, though, in a lot of different decks. It is expensive, but if you have one, it is a good upgrade to Buckle Up, and I've seen this in fresh builds around Shorikai Genesis Engine, too. Gaia's Cradle from Urza's Saga is back again. It goes up $11.79 this week to $1,099.99. You're going to find this one in Legacy Elves as well as Maverick. Vintage, it's in Squee Hollowvine. Also a great Commander card for a lot of builds if you're lucky enough to have one. It did get a mention on the Command Zone podcast this week, but I don't really think that impacted the price like it would for a cheaper card. This is just much too expensive. Cockatrice from Unlimited up $11.95 to $58.89. Now, all the rest of the white border cards in this section are from the Unlimited set, so I won't keep saying that. Just know when you see a white border card, it is from that set. Recall from Legends goes up $16.04 to $138.99. Mox Diamond from Stronghold up $17.44 to $674.85. Now, this is in Legacy decks like Lands. It's also in Selesnya and Golgari Depths there. Plus, it's in a number of Commander decks, including Yuriko. I've also seen this in Hinata. And it is an expensive but good upgrade to Buckle Up if you're lucky enough to own one. And I have seen this in fresh builds around Shorikai too. Next is Pirate Ship. It goes up $21.01 to $75. Blessing up $29.27 to $297.94. Triskelion from Antiquities up $35.42 to $239.94. Northern Paladin up $38.50 to $119.95. Armageddon up $40.51 to $170. Old Man of the Sea up $50.01 to $475. Reverse Damage up $61.31 to $81.50. Fungasaur up $65.87 to $119.99. This card goes up one week, down another week. There's a little bit of strangeness going on when it comes to asking price for this card. So just be careful if you're making a purchase. I do think this price is a little inflated. Island of Wak Wak. This goes up $322 to $3,095. Is that for real? Well, high-grade copies of this card raw will sell for about $780. So yeah, nowhere close to $3,000. I did see a graded 10 sell for $2,300 not too long ago, but those are extremely rare. The Tabernacle at Pendrell Vale. This goes up for $76.10 this week to $5,203.50. Is that one for real? Well, high-grade raw copies can sell between $3,000 and $4,000. I have not seen a high-grade graded copy sell for a while, but I do think when one does, it could get around this price point. Last card in this section, Juzam Jin. This goes up $580.45 to $3,079.99. Is that real? Well, high-grade raw copies do sell for about $33.50. So yeah, this price may be a little bit low. High-grade graded copies obviously can sell for much more. I did see a 10 sell not too long ago for about $7,800, but again, those are very rare. And that takes us to the Commander Spotlight. Now, all the cards in this section are moving, at least in part because of Commander, although there could be other key drivers for a few of them. I'll point that out as we go through. First, we have a card that's seeing increased Commander play. Imagine that. It is Citizen Champion, up $2 to $6.54. I do see this frequently in Sithis. It's also in builds around new cards like Go Shintai of Life's Origin, Tatsunari, Satsuki. Plus, it's a good upgrade to the Upgrades Unleashed Commander deck. And it's in fresh builds around a couple cards from there too. Shishiro the Shattered Blade and Kaima the Fractured Calm. Dolmen Gate, the copy from Lorwyn, is up $2.12 this week to $17.20. Again, seeing more Commander play. This time it's in Isshin builds. Ulamog the Ceaseless Hunger, up $2.14 to $59.24. Now, this is seeing more Commander play in Satoru Umezawa, also in Isshin, but it sees play in other formats too. Pioneer, it's in Mono Green Stompy, Mono Green Ramp. Modern, it's in Mono Green Tron, and Legacy, it's in Mono Green Cloudpost. Reality Spasm, up $2.17 to $3.72, and of course, this is seeing increased Commander play in Hinata decks. Honden of Life's Web, this is the one from Champions of Kamigawa. It goes up $2.17 this week to $7.72. Seeing more Commander play in Go Shintai of Life's Origin. Also, I see this in the Sisei Weatherlight Captain Shrine builds too, which are pretty popular right now because players are updating them with the new shrines from Kamigawa Neon Dynasty. To a lesser degree, I've seen this in some other Commander decks too. Kyodai, Soul of Kamigawa, and Tatsunari. Force of Will, the copy from Double Masters, goes up $2.27 this week to $117.18. This is in many different Commander decks, including Yuriko. I'm seeing this in new builds too, like Satoru, Hinata. It's expensive, but if you got one, it's a good upgrade to buckle up. And it's in fresh builds around Shorikai Genesis Engine again. Plus, of course, you know this is a legacy and vintage staple, found in multiple decks in those formats. Teferi's Protection, the Strixhaven Mystical Archive copy, is up again this week. It's up $2.31 to $37.34. Highly played Commander card, and again, many players want this for new builds. It is a good upgrade to buckle up. It's in fresh builds around Shorikai. Also, I've seen this in Sithis decks. Isshin Two Heavens is one. Go Shintai of Life's Origin. And Lightpaw's Emperor's Voice. Walker of Secret Ways, Solid Ninja for Yuriko builds, also in Satoru Umezawa. Planechase 2012 goes up $2.27 this week to $8.37. Planechase Anthology is up $2.32 to $9.49. Esper's Sentinel up $2.38 this week to $29.94. Great upgrade to buckle up. It's in fresh builds around Shorikai and Kotori as well. And it is getting a lot of play in other new builds too. Isshin, Hinata, Lightpaws, Tamishi, Reality Architect. And this is a good modern card too, in Hammer Time, Thopter Combo, and much more. Legacy even, you'll see this in Azorius Aggro. Mana Vault, the copy from Revised, goes up $2.42 this week to $73.39. Huge Commander card, good upgrade to buckle up, a little expensive, but if you have one, you might want to throw it in. Also, it's in fresh builds around Shorikai Genesis Engine, plus it's in other new decks, Satoru and Hinata. Vintage, you'll see this in Paradoxical Outcome, Aggro Shops, and more. Higuri, the Still Wind. This is the one from Planechase Anthology. It goes up $2.71 to $24.99. Another good card for Commander Yuriko decks, and it's also in Satoru. Cavern of Souls, the copy from the list that goes up $2.72 this week to $82.89. This did join the list with Keltime, and it stayed on all the way through Innistrad Crimson Vow, so that was a while. This is a huge Commander card in Edgar Markov, as well as many other builds, and you're going to see this in Modern, Amulet Titan, Goblins, Elementals, and much more there. Legacy, it's in Doomsday, Mono Green Cloudpost, and more. And in Vintage, you even see this in Goblins. Land Tax. Now, this is the copy from Battle Royale. It goes up $2.88 this week to $38.17. Popular Commander card, another good upgrade to buckle up. Also in fresh builds around Shorikai. And I've seen this in Commander builds around cards from the main Kamigawa set. Isshin, Lightpaws, and Tamishi. Sensei's Divining Top, the copy from the list that just got added with Kamigawa Neon Dynasty. It goes up $2.89 this week to $65.72. This is yet another good upgrade to buckle up and yet another good card to put in a fresh build around Shorikai. This is often found in Commander Yuriko as well, and it's in some other new builds too. The Reality Chip, Satoru Umezawa, and Jin Gataxias Progress Tyrant. Plus this gets a lot of vintage play. It's in 4-color Tinker, Paradoxical Outcome, and more. Bruised Tarl Borish Herder from Commander 2016. It goes up $2.97 this week to $9.51. This only comes in foil, and it has been a popular partner commander for a long time. Now it is seeing some increased commander play in Isshin 2 Heavens as 1 builds. Honden of Cleansing Fire, the one from Eternal Masters, goes up $3.26 this week to $11.99. Like the other Honden we saw earlier, this is in Commander Go Shintai of Life's Origin, also in the Sisei Weatherlight Captain Shrine builds, and to a lesser degree, I have seen this in some commander builds around Kyodai, Soul of Kamigawa. Crow Mox, the one from Double Masters, goes up $3.36 to $83.13. Again, you're going to see this in a lot of commander builds, including Yuriko. Also, it's in new builds like Satoru Umezawa, Hinata Dawn Crowned, Lightpaw's Emperor's Voice. And again, this is expensive, but a good upgrade to buckle up if you happen to own one. Also in fresh builds around Shorikai, and it's in a lot of legacy decks too. The Epic Storm, Blood Moon Aggro, and more. Additionally, you'll see this in Vintage Goblins. Here's that other copy of Ink Eye Servant of Oni that I promised. It is the one from Plane Chase 2012. It's up $3.52 this week to $37.81. Argothian Enchantress from Eternal Masters. It goes up $3.65 this week to $45.81. It's getting more commander play now in updated Sithis decks, Go Shintai of Life's Origin, Tatsunari Toad Rider, Satsuki the Living Lore. Plus, it is a good upgrade to the Upgrades Unleashed commander deck, and I've seen this in fresh builds around Shishiro and Kaima from there. On top of that, this is in Legacy Enchantress too. Painter Servant from Shadowmoor up $3.65 this week to $74.19. This gets a little commander play in various decks, but Legacy is really what's driving the price for this card. It's in the Legacy Painter decks, which did become more popular when the meta changed after that Ragavan Nimble Pilferer ban. Entomb, the copy from Premium Deck Series Graveborn. This one only comes in foil. It goes up $3.83 this week to $40. This is seeing more commander play in Greasefang Okiba Boss. It's also in Legacy Reanimator too, and that again has been another deck seeing more play post the Ragavan banning. Reign of Daggers up $3.96 to $11.41. Now this does not get much play to speak of, but it is an older card that's yet to be reprinted and very hard to find online in good condition. Replenish up $4.07 to $116.99. Great card for enchantment heavy builds and commander like Sithis. This is also showing up in deck lists around new cards from Kamigawa, surprise, surprise, Go Shintai of Life's Origin, Lightpaws, Satsuki, and Tamishi. Fierce Guardianship, this card will not stop. It goes up $10.02 this week to $68.99. Huge commander card in multiple builds, including Yuriko. It's also in new builds as well. Satoru Umezawa, Hinata Dawn Crowned, Go Shintai of Life's Origin, Tatsunari Toad Rider, and another good upgrade for Buckle Up or something to put in Shorikai Genesis Engine fresh builds. Pretty much, if you're playing blue nowadays in Commander, you probably want this card. Urborg Justice up $10.48 to $19.97. Now this does see a tad bit of commander play, but this does have the look and feel of a reserve list buyout this week. Silent Blade Oni, the Commander 2018 copy up $3.84 to $18.04, the Planechase Anthology copy up $4.03 to $16.90, and the Planechase 2012 copy up $11.80 to $24.99. By now, you know why this is going up. This is in Commander Yuriko the Tiger Shadow, plus it's in new builds around Satoru Umezawa and Tatsunari Toad Rider. Opal Archangel, this one's climbing $15.52 to $20. Now I have seen this in a Go Shintai of Life's Origin commander build, and Streets of New Capenna may have some angels in there, judging by the set symbol and the description. However, again, this has the look and feel of a reserve list buyout. Last card in this section is Lake of the Dead up $17.01 to $143.30. Now this is a reserve list card, but it does get some commander play. It's in Carrick Son of Yawgmoth and more. Maybe it's the start of a buyout, but it could also just be a little dry online this week. And that takes us to the premium spotlight. Now there's always a lot of premium cards going up and down pretty dramatically. Somehow, some way, I have to choose at least a couple to talk about in this section. So I try to be a little bit discerning. I don't want to just go for things that are bought out necessarily, or things that are going to move up for a week and move back down. But today I selected two cards. One of them maybe breaks my rule just a little bit. You'll see that in just a second. But I do want to remind you too, because premium cards, much like some of the vintage cards, don't get a lot of sales over the course of a week, The prices you see are going to be very reminiscent again of what you might see on a price tracking website, but once I show you the price, I'll let you know what I'm seeing when it comes to true sales as well. First, we have Unwinding Clock, the foil from New Phyrexia. It goes up $17.14 to $53.97. Is this price real? Well, I have seen raw copies get close to the price, selling for about $46 to $47. Future sales could actually pass this. And the last card is Northern Paladin, the 7th edition foil. It's up $43.13 this week to $150.53. And this is the one that kind of breaks my rule. There's a good chance this is just dry for a week, and next week it could go back down. But I do like to periodically show you one of these 7th edition foils because there's a lot of demand on certain ones. They are very hard to find online in high grade. Now, is this price accurate? Well, the last sale I saw was about $110 for a high grade raw copy. This jump might be a jump in asking price more than anything. And that's going to do it for this episode of the Magic the Gathering Market Watch. If you're sticking with me through this whole video and you're still here, hey, thank you. I appreciate that. Also, too, I'm very excited that we're closing in on 50,000 subscribers. That's a huge milestone for this channel, and I couldn't do it without each and every one of you, so thank you. Until next time, hey, stay safe out there. Thanks for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe, and have a great day. Hey, thanks for watching. This video is made possible through the generous support of viewers like you on Patreon. Check out the description below for links to our Patreon page, as well as our Amazon affiliate store, where a small percentage of all sales will also help support the channel. Finally, if you haven't had a chance yet to subscribe, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the new videos on Heroes and Legends. Talk to you again soon, and have a great day.